Hey guys, welcome to my live stream. Please let me know, first of all, in the chat if everything is working, because as you know, it's it always works when I'm checking the sound and the video before I start the live stream. But as soon as I press the button to start it, something goes wrong. So please let me know if the audio and the video works fine. And while you're at it, you can also tell me where are you from, and maybe tell me about your Halloween celebrations, because as you can see, I'm still in a kind of a spooky Halloween mood. And the subject of today's stream is obviously a Halloween video that we made. Oh, I see some replies. Oh, hello, John. Hello, Flo. Hello, Derek. And the video and audio are good. Thank you. I'm going to show you. Oh, hello, Yura. I'm going to show you how I created the virtual environment for the video for Gods and Monsters, and maybe some parts of how I composed it together with the real footage. I will try to do my best, but to be honest, I slept like for only 3 hours tonight, and so my brain isn't at its best. So I apologize if I'm going to be too boring and slow, but I'm doing my best. I really do. Okay. Let me give a short announcement in Russian, and I will be back in English in a couple of moments. Всем привет! Добро пожаловать на стрим. Во-первых, вот, да, мой мозг сегодня работает плохо, потому что я спала примерно 3 часа. И поэтому я буду тормозить, но я сильно стараюсь вас не подвести. И скажите мне, пожалуйста, нужно ли мне переводить все, что я говорю, на русский, или вы меня поймете и по-английски? Пожалуйста, напишите в чате, потому что это сэкономит нам всем массу времени, а мне массу усилий. Окей. Привет, мам. Миша, hello. Okay. Also, another thing, guys, if you would like to support my work, you can do it with the coffee link in the description or with a donate stream if you're from Russia. And your support helps me do the things that I do. And I'm super grateful to my coffee members and Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome, and you're the only reason why I'm doing this and I'm able to do it. So thank you so much. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. So the idea for Gods and Monsters comes from the TV series American Horror Story from the 4th season, which is called Freak Show. And there is this beautiful scene where Jessica Lange's character performs this song. And I'm not even sure if I knew this song, if I heard it before I actually saw it in the TV series. But for some reason, I instantly realized that this song was probably by Lana Del Rey. I don't know. There's just some kind of a unique vibe to her, composition style or something, even though it was obviously a cover performed by the actress from American Horror Story. And I was absolutely mesmerized by this performance. It's a really beautiful scene. And if you haven't watched the TV series, I'm going to show you a little bit of a side by side. Misha is okay with English. I know. I believe in you, my friend. Awesome. So, let me switch to this view, and we are going to watch a couple of moments from the video compared to the scene from American Horror Story. So obviously the beginning is a bit different because, they had something going on.
In the land of gods and monsters, I was an angel, living in the garden of evil, screwed up, scared, doing anything that I needed, shining like a fiery beacon. You've got that medicine I need, pain, liquor, love, give it to me slowly. Put your hands on my waist, do it softly. Me and God, we don't get along, so now I see.
I think the next chorus and the verse are a little bit different. Let me try and find the third verse. Yeah, okay, somewhere here.
'Cause life imitates art. If I get a little pretty, can I be a baby? You tell me life isn't that hard. No one's gonna take my soul away. I'm living like Jim Morrison, headed towards a fucked up holiday.
Okay, I guess these parts of the video are the most obvious ones that were kind of, copied from the American Horror Story scene. And what I tried to do initially is just to watch really, really closely at the American Horror Story video and try to figure out how many camera angles they had and what were the camera moves and if I could replicate them. Obviously, some were easier than others, and the easiest ones are probably the close-ups, like zoomed in to my face or to the guys' faces. But there were some interesting challenges because obviously they had a huge production to create this video, right? They had professional camera operators and director and however many people on the crew who helped to capture this scene. But we only have ourselves and mostly me to take care of all the filming issues. And so I decided to make it a little bit simpler for myself, at least for my own sake, to have a little bit less work, which didn't exactly work out the way I planned. But anyways, I decided that we would film basically three main angles, so to say. So we have a low angle. I guess I can show you some examples in After Effects, which I've loaded. No, we don't need the video. We need After Effects. So this one is a more of a wide, higher angle. This one is a wide, low angle, and obviously some close-ups, like this one, which is actually a bit wider. Let me show you if it loads. Yeah. So originally it's quite a bit wider, right? So since I have a 4K camera now, I can afford to zoom in quite a bit into the shots. And it's the easiest type of shots you can composite in with like Unreal Engine or whichever background you have, actually. The wider shots, on the other hand, and especially moving wider shots, are a little bit of a challenge. So, as you can see, there's some movement in the shots that I made. But the issue was, how do we deal with it with our real life footage? Obviously, I can make any camera movement in the virtual production in Unreal Engine. But somehow I need to match the perspective of this moving camera to what's going on in the real world, right? So I decided to do a little experiment and film everything, well, at least the wider shots, with a new electronic motorized slider that I recently got. So basically, there is a motor, there is a slider, and you can program it to move from point A to point B, or however many points you have. And it will repeat the same movement every time you start it. Though there is a caveat to that, at least with this particular model, because it's like on the cheaper side, that it doesn't save this motion, so you can't recall it after you turn off the slider, which is a bummer. But since we made a pretty simple movement, it wasn't such a big deal. And so there are basically, like I said, three main type of shots: the wide low angle, the wide high angle, and the close-ups. But for each one of them, I shot first static camera, so no camera motion at all. It just stays there in place, just kind of a insurance policy if anything goes wrong with the moving shots. And that was a really good call, I must tell you. So, and then I had some camera movements. Especially for the first shot, I think, like for the first wide shot that we have in the video. Let me go back and show it to you again. The ones that's here.
In the land of gods and monsters, I was an angel.
So you can see that it not only moves from whatever it's from right to left, okay, or from left to right, depending on which side you're on, but it also kind of pans the camera a little bit around. And this motion is kind of tricky, even though the slider that I got actually allows you to program the panning of the camera and also tilting, but we didn't use this feature this time. So then you somehow have to, composite it together and synchronize the movement, right? So initially I thought that there are like a couple of ways that I heard about of like using some device to capture the actual movement during filming. And supposedly the most affordable and easiest way to do it is with an iPhone. So if you have an iPhone, you can install an app which is called Live Link, I think, and then synchronize it with your Unreal Engine camera. And it's supposed to work. And it actually worked for some movements. When I tested it, I just, held my iPhone in my hands and moved it around, like this, somehow. And the motion actually matched the ones that I was seeing in Unreal Engine. But the issue arose when we tried to put the iPhone on top of a camera on top of a slider. And apparently, iPhones don't understand, or maybe the software doesn't understand, the very slow linear motion only on one axis. So instead of moving like this, steadily and slowly, and buttery smoothly, it just either didn't move at all in Unreal or made some jerking movements, like which obviously didn't work for our purposes. So that option was out. I also looked into some more kind of professional trackers. Again, one of the more affordable is Vivo tracker. But unfortunately, I couldn't find any rental places that have them here in Moscow, or they were like rented out already. It's not such a popular item to be rented, apparently. And I didn't want to invest into it at this point because I heard some rumors or reviews or something that this piece of equipment currently doesn't work with the latest Unreal Engine, which is 5.3. I'm not sure if it's completely true, but I didn't want to buy a piece of equipment that's potentially not going to work, right? So the other option of tracking the camera movements is to film whatever motion you want and then try to 3D track it in some other software, for example, in After Effects or in Blender. And it kind of half worked. I watched a lot of tutorials, and they either suggested that you first track the camera in After Effects, then export the file in a certain format that's supported by a 3D rendering software or whatever. And then you import it into Unreal and build your scene around this imported camera. And I was thinking, why would I do that? Why can't I import the camera and just into the environment that I had, which I already had by that point, by the way. I had a mock-up of the scene. I can show you quickly a little bit. Where is it? Oh, here it is. I showed it to my patrons first, so you can see that some features are already there, and I really didn't want to rebuild it again. And so I tried this method of 3D tracking the camera in After Effects and importing it in Unreal. And lo and behold, it didn't work because the scale and the placement of the camera was completely wrong. And it just spawned into some random spot in the project. And the issue with that is that you can't properly move it to another place or scale this motion. It worked a little bit better in Blender. So if you tracked your footage not in After Effects but in Blender, then installed an add-on which would allow you to export this camera motion into a format that Unreal Engine recognizes, and then use a script from that add-on to import it into Unreal Engine, which is a little bit tricky, you can see. And it also didn't work right away because, again, this add-on wasn't up to date with the latest Unreal Engine version, which I was already using for this project. But anyways, it imported fine in the end, and the scale seemed to be okay. But again, the camera was spawned at a different location from which I would have liked it to be. And I actually watched a tutorial where a guy solved this issue. So he basically just created an empty actor that was parented to the camera that you imported with the tracked motion, and then you moved this empty actor and placed it wherever you wanted. However, it didn't work again in the latest version of Unreal Engine. I think the tutorial was filmed like a year or maybe a year and a half ago or something, and the guy in the video was using the version like 4.2 or something. So apparently, somehow, Unreal broke this parenting thing to an empty actor. I'm not sure why it doesn't work this way anymore, because in the video tutorial, he really could move precisely the actor and the camera together, so like two pieces connected, basically. While when I try to do the same thing, and it's not a complicated thing, you can't really screw it up. You just create one thing and parent it to another. It can't be simpler, really. They start to move separately at some point. So you move a camera here and your empty actor here, and they kind of move around each other to whichever place they want. And I guess it also has to do with the coordinates that the imported camera has, but whatever. It didn't work. Long story short. So in the end, I decided that I will have to just manually try to match the motion of the video that we filmed and the virtual camera, which wasn't such a big deal really in this particular case, because as I said, it was just a linear, smooth motion from one side to the other. And since I already knew what the distance was and how long it took to move from point A to point B, I could figure out how much the camera should move in Unreal Engine. So that's what I did. However, if I knew that I would do it this way when we filmed it, I wouldn't have used a certain thing that would dramatically hinder my workflow. Let me show you. So we're going to go back into After Effects. And for example, here is the drum shots that we filmed at our rehearsal place. It's the only shots that we got outside of my apartment, because everything else was filmed at my place. And this is the only thing that we filmed outside, because we can't, put drums into my room. It's just not enough space. So you can see that there are some markers here and there, and they are very useful if you want to track your scene in After Effects or in Blender. However, since we didn't really need them and I didn't use them, it would have been so much easier for me to just not have them here at all. Because, as you can see, they sometimes overlap with Sergei's head in this shot. And that happened because of my kind of a mistake. You can notice there is a little bit of a light poking above Sergei's head. And we used the same light to give us kind of a rim lighting in every shot. But initially it was mounted on a higher stand, so it was much higher. But when we tried to set up this stand in this rehearsal space, one of the adapters that was holding the stand together, because it was made of two parts, broke, and we couldn't mount the light as high as we needed to. So instead of mounting the light higher, we just lowered the green screen down, and so the markers became level with Sergei's head, and I didn't realize that at the moment. So, guys, if you ever decide to film anything on a green screen and use markers to track your footage in post, keep in mind that they shouldn't be anywhere near your talent's head. Just don't do it. Do as I say, not as I do. So that was a really big struggle. And let me show you. There are a few layers. Come on, please don't be so slow. I guess it's a little bit heavy at the moment because, it's running the live stream and the After Effects software and also Unreal Engine in the background. So you can see that I'm trying to cut out some of the markers here with some masks. And later I started doing this weird thing where I just, put some masks here, put some masks here to separate Sergei's head and track it with a roto brush, and then cut the stuff out on another layer. So there's a layer on top of another layer, another layer, and it takes a lot of time to clean up these shots of Sergei playing. While on the other hand, for example, in this close-up, the markers are somewhere around me, so they are not that much in the way, and also these dark green markers could be keyed out automatically with key light software. Maybe not in this particular shot because I also have to deal with the feathers, but in some shots I could actually just remove them instantly. But that's just something to definitely keep in mind in the future. So yeah, that was the part about removing the green screen and trying to clean the footage before I used it in first Unreal Engine and then again back in After Effects to composite it. What's going on with you guys? Congratulations on your perseverance. Thank you, Flo. It means a lot. Also, guys, if you have any questions, please leave them in the chat. I will try to go back and forth between all these pieces of software that I have running at the moment and try to look at what you want to ask me. And of course, answer your questions. So, what about actually creating the stuff in Unreal Engine, you might ask me. And let us switch to here. So here is our scene. It's like a big tent. Whoop. That I got somewhere, I think on like CGI Trader or somewhere. And there is a lot of different pieces from different sets that I used. There are some kind of cool circus props, like a huge cannon that you could like shoot a person from. It's just these small details that add some realism to the scene, even though you can't really, see them that closely in the video. But I really like all these small details that are around here. I also love these drums. I think they are absolutely brilliant for this atmosphere. And also the piano. We initially thought that Tina could actually play the piano part like the girl in the original, American Horror Story. video, because Tina actually plays the piano as well as the guitar. And we could have done the same thing I did with Where Have All the Flowers Gone, if you guys remember, where there's the real keyboard, this one that's right beside me. I'm not sure if you can see it on the small screen. And then the real keyboard is attached to the virtual piano. But when I thought about all the work I would have to do to properly, composite it together, I decided not to, because also in the music there were much more like interesting guitar parts for Tina to play. And here is actually one piece of props or 3D objects that I made myself. So again, in the TV series, there's a sign behind them on the stage which says Fräulein Elsa's Cabinet of Curiosities, and I just found a picture of that sign and changed it to Alexandra's Cabinet of Curiosities. I'm sorry. And I also added some texture. You, again, can't probably see it from like the distance that it's filmed, and it's also mostly out of focus. But I think it looks cool. Okay, so that's... there are also like balloons here. Happy Carnival! So let's go outside, and it's going to look kind of weird because, we are exiting the tent, right, where all the action was, and there we're going to the beginning. How come? So this is the road that we travel in the beginning and in the end of the video, right? And we arrive at the same tent. So why? And for that, let me come here and change the lighting so we can see better. So you can see there's a whole lot of stuff going on. Since I didn't plan on filming this tent from the outside, I didn't bother that much with, hiding all the parts that I used inside. Like this is a part of a curtain, and these are the lights that are like on top. There's a part of the balloon sticking out. You can see the lights are going like right through the ceiling. Okay, so for this outside shot, I just needed a cleaner version of the tent, even though it also has like a piece of curtain sticking out here. You can see it in the dark, unlike those lights that are sticking out from top. And we can actually see some more details in the daylight. There is a ticket booth. Oh, the reflections are kind of nice. It's a shame that they didn't, play a big role in the intro or the outro. There are some signs, right? And another tent. And this carousel. And I was absolutely amazed that this particular model was free. Again, I think it's either on CG Trader or what's it called? The other big site where you can find free 3D models, in other words. And it also has some animations. Like if I go wherever... Oh, where's my sequencer? Here it is. So it actually like works. For example, the Ferris wheel I got, it's also a free model. But unfortunately, I guess the built-in animations that it had didn't work in Unreal. It was made in some other piece of software, which I don't know. So I just basically separated it into parts There is the wheel part and the legs kind of part. Yeah. And so I just manually animated it in this shot where it is. Yeah, this is the one. So it's basically like just a position animation, not a proper animation that you would have like this carousel thingy. Wee. Come on. Wee. Yeah. So there is not that many details in this outside environment because, it's just like a couple of seconds zooming in and zooming out. So I didn't really bother that much with these shots. I just wanted to give it, some kind of an introduction to the scene. Um, but let's look at some more like interesting stuff. I guess I should like undo a lot of stuff, including like changing the lights outside. Pow, pow. Yeah, here we go. So, what's going on here? Oh, привет, Костя. This type of dedication to your visual art is admirable. The finished product is amazing. Thank you, John. Thank you so much. Flaw. Wow, you have recreated the full set. Not like the full set, it's just like some parts of it to make it, more immersive. Okay, so I got some, I wouldn't say criticism because you guys just were so nice about it, about the missing shadows. And I wanted to show you how they actually looked in Unreal and why it didn't work out like they should probably. So, first of all, here are my like draft cutouts of us all, and they look kind of weird when you look from the side. But that's because in order for the illusion of it being one real scene to work, I have to make them, to position them that they always face the camera. And I did it manually, even though there are some options to do it automatically in Unreal, but the scale didn't work quite right. So I decided to just, bite the bullet and also do it manually. So, at the moment, all these video plates or video planes, whatever they called, are set to be masked, so you can see the contour of each talent, right? So in theory, they should cast shadows that are, the same as the silhouette. And for example, here there is this shadow, but why on earth is it here? And you can also see that Tina's shadow is just basically a line because we are flat, guys. We are living in a flat world and casting like line-like shadows. So, the lighting. Why are the shadows so weird? Let me find some point that would show you it's somewhat decently. So there is a lot of lights. All these light bulbs are some lights that some of them are for the pumpkins. So the pumpkins are glowing, but some of them to set the scene the way it's again filmed in American Horror Story. So, first of all, we have some like just ambient light to give some definition to the audience, which is lacking, but still we needed to see that there is like the chairs and the balloons and such. Again, it's just to give some atmosphere, right? So this is the first light we have. Then we have kind of the spotlight for the singer, and also that's supposed to light the sign in the background, but it's like kind of doesn't quite reach it that far, so that sign has another light pointed directly onto it. But what's more important for this case is this light, which lights the stage. Without it, it's quite dark, even though I also have a rectangular light here, which also helps. So these two lights work together and they kind of blend together. But since they are much closer to this subject, the shadows, the shadows are casting in the wrong direction. And so Tina's shadow is going this way, and Anton's is supposed to be somewhere here, but again, we can't really see it. And actually, the only object that will come in handy later is this kick drum, which also casts a much softer shadow, somewhere there, behind. And also, speaking of the lighting, each musician gets their own spotlight. So we kind of see that if it was the only light source, Tina's shadow would be like somewhere here and pretty close to her feet, which I tried to recreate later in After Effects. And I will show you what happened there in a moment. Hey. Мне все это напоминает клип Carnival of Rust. Yeah, that's Carnival of Rust was another source of inspiration, at least for the intro and outro going into the carnival and out of the carnival. But it's more of an afterthought, really. Though it's like a nice thing that you noticed it. Сколько по времени занимает вся работа, начиная с продумывания и заканчивая монтажом? Oh, Michael also recognized the Carnival of Rust. Nice. Marina asks how long it took to make this video, including the music. So, I got this idea somewhere in the middle of September, and I first arranged the song, and arranging doesn't take that long for me. It's just like maybe a couple of days. And we, since it's not only me in the video and I had to, figure out when to film the guys, it took some time, I guess a couple of weeks to do it. And we filmed Anton, the bass player, and Tina, the guitar player, on the 29th of September. Then the next day we filmed Sergei at the rehearsals place, because we also had a rehearsal that day. So we filmed Sergei for some time and then rehearsed. And then I guess it was like the 1st or the 2nd of October, I filmed myself. But right when I was actually checking the footage that I filmed of myself, I realized that there are 2 files missing from Tina's filming. So I don't know, either I messed up and didn't press the record button on some takes, or if the memory card, I don't know, freaked out and didn't record a couple of takes. So I had to invite Tina the next week. So it was like a week after we started filming to film those shots, which was actually very lucky because Tina likes to color her hair into different bright and, exotic colors. And she was actually planning on dyeing her hair like in a couple of days. So if I didn't notice that some of her footage was missing, we would have like ended up with not a blonde guitar girl in the video, but with like emerald haired guitar girl. So that was lucky. And so, of course, while I was waiting for Tina, I also already started editing the video. So I had all the scenes planned and did a rough cut of the green screen footage and started cutting out the green screen. And I guess actually cutting out the green screen was one of the most tedious, tiresome, and long processes of the whole video. Because first I did a kind of draft keying, as it turned out, which I wasn't planning on being actually draft. To actually import the footage into Unreal. So the shots we see here is the first version of keying. But unfortunately, keying for Unreal Engine and for After Effects don't work the same way. They're a little bit different. They work a little bit differently with the transparency of the edges. So I had to then clean up the green screen footage again. And then, of course, I had to composite the shots, which isn't the worst thing. And it's kind of exciting because you finally see how it's, coming all together. And so I was doing all this stuff right up to the 30th of October. And, or maybe the 29th. Yeah, probably the 29th, because I recorded the vocals finally on the 29th of October, right? Putting it up to the last moment. And then I edited the vocals on the 30th and did some rough mixing and finally mixed the song. Right on the 31st of October, a few hours before posting the video and rendering out like minutes before I actually posted it at 9 p.m. Don't do it like me. Так что в целом получается примерно 1,5 месяца. Примерно 1,5 месяца на все этапы, включая keying и быстрое сведение. Вот. Но сама идея это у меня уже была несколько лет, поэтому это немножко облегчило задачу, наверное. But since I had the idea for quite a few years, I guess it made the preparation part a little bit easier because I already had in mind what I wanted to do and how I wanted it to look. So that really helps, I guess, to speed up the process. But I'm really proud, to be honest, of myself that I actually managed to release this video on the actual Halloween day. Where did you get a double bass for Anton? Oh, we rented it. We just found some random rental place, called the guys a few days in advance, and Anton just went and rented it. Though there is a funny story. Oh my god! I'm not sure if I should tell the story, but I guess we are already clear. So I guess we're fine. So Anton went to the rental place, which wasn't that far from my apartment, and he drove there. So he got to the rental place, got the double bass, And while he was carrying it to his car, he somehow, I don't know how, bumped it. And the head of the double bass, you know, the swirly thing on top, just snapped away from the actual double bass. So when he arrived, we had like the double bass in two pieces, the actual double bass and the head, so the swirly thing, separately. So we had to, you know, glue them together with epoxy pole glue. You know, it's like epoxy resin glue. To, you know, get it fixed fast. And I also did some minor, you know, renovating work on the seam. So when we actually returned it, there was only one, like, chipped off piece missing. And we said, well, you know, there's just one piece missing. We can, you know, pay for the damages. And to, you know, kind of the happy end of the story. Oh, Tina, hello. Tina is in the chat, has joined us. Okay, so I was going to show you how I tried to manage the shadows in After Effects. Let me switch to that software. And I guess we shall go to this composition. It's not, by the way, the final version of the composition, because there's this one magical plugin which takes a ton of resources to process and to render even in a preview mode. So you can see it just, even now, it doesn't work. It doesn't want to show us the results. So I'm going just to turn it off. And here is the layer with the shadows that I basically drew just masks and used multiply mode. Come on, are we going to work or not? Hello. We're very slow today. I can try to turn off some of the footage. Maybe that will help. And so there was a lot of waiting. Yeah, by the way, the most annoying part of working on this whole project was actually waiting for After Effects to process basically each frame. Because, you know, when I'm keying out some stuff, I need to see it in real time, especially, as I said, like those markers above Sergei's head. Sergei is always moving when he's drumming. And so I needed to see the motion pretty much in real time to judge if I need to adjust the masks and the keying plugin. We don't want to work today, I guess. Like, what's happening? So basically what I was saying is that you make a change and then you wait for a few minutes for it to process these frames and to realize what's going on and to show you what you actually changed. It's super annoying. Even though my computer is pretty fast, After Effects just doesn't want to work sometimes, even though you can, you know, lower the quality, which I am going to do now. Maybe this will help. But yeah. Or maybe, have I frozen this shot? I should check. Maybe I have frozen and I'm just, you know, speaking bullshit about After Effects and it's working fine. It's shot 63. No, it's not rendered. No, it isn't. That's a shame that it doesn't want to show me the stuff I want to see. Is there maybe? No, this is the rendered one. Okay. Not sure what's going on. Anyways, what I was saying about shadows is that here I tried to actually recreate the shadows as I imagine they would have been if we only had the lighting not to make the scene pretty, but to actually light the characters, right? So it would have been a little bit softer and a little bit lower. There is also a plugin that can cast shadows, but I guess I can't really show you now. Maybe this shot will work. I'm not sure. And I would like to show you another thing if it works. But maybe it won't. Again. Okay, let's try this comp. Maybe this comp will work. Hello. Now it don't want to show me the comp. Okay, it's just all too heavy for this. Yeah, you guys also have the same issue with After Effects. Yeah. I totally feel you guys. And also, I even set up the, what's it called, like disk cache to my fastest drive. And like it barely made a difference. I guess now it's also a little bit slower than it was before because I had to move the disk cache folder to a slower drive because I was just running out of space, and the fastest drive is the drive where I store my projects, so the footage I'm currently working with. Let me switch to my headshot, maybe. I think you were also seeing me very slowly moving, like jittering or whatever. Maybe it's better. I hope so. Okay. Since After Effects doesn't want to play with us, I'm going to shut it down just to save the resources and show you the stuff in Unreal. Though I was hoping to show you another interesting thing, but I guess it will have to do. Oh, okay, now everything is crashed. Okay, Unreal now also crashed. Perfect! Don't touch it when, it works. I will try to restart Unreal. I hope it won't crash the stream. Okay, we don't need to restore the files. I have everything the way I wanted to before. Okay, Unreal is working. And I want to show you a funny thing. So, obviously, everything around us is not real. But did any of you notice that kind of one of the instruments is also not real? You probably can't really tell, but the kick drum in some of the shots is not the actual kick drum that Sergei played in real life. Let me show you. I have to unhide the stuff. Oh, I have a little bit of an issue. By the way, I don't know why it's happening, but sometimes After Effects, Unreal Engine doesn't want to work with the video materials I created, so I have to like remake them or at least try to reassign them. Where are those? And by the way, I really hope that, which is the night. I really hope that in the future, Unreal Engine developers will like improve this whole process, because in order to import, oh, it fixed itself. Interesting. How did it manage? I removed the texture. Why does it work when it shouldn't? So basically, in order to import a video file into the sequencer, oh, I'm sorry, it's opacity. You have to create 4 files for each shot. It is absolutely crazy, and these types of shots shouldn't cast shadows. No, we don't want those shadows. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is this beautiful fake kick drum. Oh, we're still behind the guitar. Right? And I had to use it because when you put it into Unreal, you can't really see the bottom of the kick drum or any other object that has depth to it in your filmed footage, right? So if I wanted to see it, the drums would be much higher, and that's not how it's supposed to look, right? And so that's a bit of an issue when you're trying to composite the scene in Unreal, even if it's just, like a draft version. So obviously it's not the final version. I don't like how the silhouettes are cut out. I don't like how they're blending with the background, but I need a reference to composite the shots in After Effects the way I want them to, right? So I needed this footage. And also, the thing about filming moving shots and trying to composite them afterwards is that if you miss the center of the shot even a little bit, your center won't fit the virtual environment. So you can see that even though in this particular shot there is camera movement and Sergei's drums would move, they are probably too slow at the moment to actually be of any meaningful depiction, but the perspective of the kick drum actually moves, and you can see that it's a moving shot, but it doesn't move in the same way it's supposed to if it was a real drum set. So I decided that I will hide Sergei behind a fake kick drum, and surprisingly it solves this issue. Again, most of the time Sergei is also kind of behind me, so it also helps. But I think this fake kick drum really saved the shots. Have you tried to turn it off and on again? You mean After Effects? Yeah, I did it many times, of course. Барабанщик в последнюю очередь, чтобы не шумел? В каком смысле? Барабанщик наш все. Барабанщик должен шуметь. Did you hide the drummer for it not to, make any noise? No, I want the noise from the drummer. Okay, so that's the fake kick drum I wanted to tell you about. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, I wanted to kind of ask your opinion, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do it now. So I want to show it to you in After Effects, but I'm not sure if I can find the same pieces of footage to use directly in OBS Studio to show it to you. But anyways, I'm kind of into mines because of this situation with the kick drum, for example. about the whole thing of filming the, moving object. And because on the one hand, yes, you can see that perspective shifts a little bit when the camera moves from one side to another. But when it comes to me or Tina or Anton moving at the same time, you can't really tell the difference. The only time when you can see the perspective shifting is actually when you're looking at the drum kit, because there's a lot of like straight lines, and it has quite a bit of depth. The kick drum, and then you have the snare drum, and only behind that you have the actual drummer who performs. So you can see the perspective shift a little bit more clearly with the drums. But one tiny mistake, like in that shot that I showed you with the fake drum replacing the real drum, I'm not entirely convinced that, at least for these type of, moving from one side to the other, I really need to film the moving camera. And it's kind of a bummer, because I really was looking forward to using this electronic motorized slider more. Though, to be fair, the shots which are a little bit more complex, that are not just one side to the other, but with a little bit of panning, or like moving a little bit around the subject, it looks, I think, more interesting. So maybe I should, make more shots like this, panning around the subjects. That's something I will need to ponder for my next video in Unreal. Do you guys have any questions? Do you want me to show you any other stuff that I, implemented in making of this video? Because I think, according to my notes, I pretty much told you everything that I wanted, except that I can show you the example of a moving shot against a static shot that's made to be moving. But, stuff happens. Добрый вечер. Мы уже тут потихоньку начинаем заканчивать. Your explanation of everything is great. Thank you. You're very kind, John. Окей. По поводу After Effects. Важно проверять, хватает ли ОЗУ. У меня 64 гига. А видеопамять, она почему-то не очень берет от видеокарты. Ну, то есть, когда рендерит, да, а в процессе вот такого покадрового пререндера она почему-то не всю ее использует. И оперативку тоже не всегда всю. Поэтому диск SSD и этот, как его, господи, который вставляется в слот, не SATA. Да, NVMe, он самый. Where do you find your 3D assets? Only in Real Marketplace? No, as I said, it's CGI Trader, and the other one, let me look it up for you. I have like a million tabs open in my browser, but unfortunately I closed the tabs for the 3D models marketplaces. So let me look it up, because I have some receipts. Some of the models I used were free, but some of them I bought. Though buying stuff on other platforms which are not specifically made for Unreal, or if the model that you're buying doesn't have specifically an Unreal project file with it, can be a little bit you know, time consuming to actually import them properly into the project, because sometimes you need to assign a ton of textures to all the materials, because some of the project files don't do it automatically. Not project files, I mean 3D model files, but you get what I mean, I hope. Oh, Sketchfab, of course, Sketchfab. So CG Trader and Sketchfab are my favorite. There is also free3d.com, but I don't think I used anything from there in this particular project, but there is some decent stuff. So it's just a lot of Googling, really, for the models that you want. And by the way, the price doesn't really speak of the quality, because some of the pumpkins that you see in the scene, I can show you maybe. Let's go back to Unreal. So some of the pumpkins were free. Like, I really like this central pumpkin. It looks pretty realistic. This one is also not so bad. And there are these ones. So this one is free. There are also photogrammetry, like kind of cool pumpkins. So they were made with a bunch of photographs and then combined into a 3D objects. They were also free. But these pumpkins, there are a few variation of those, because you can kind of animate them into different facial expressions. But overall, the texture quality, even though I'm not on the highest settings at the moment in Unreal, but overall the quality isn't the greatest. And this set of pumpkins, and there's also a skeleton kind of character, though it's animated, so it's a little bit better. That was like 20 something bucks, and in the end I don't actually think that this particular set was worth it, while I think these pumpkins, like this one and this one, were like also a couple of dollars maybe, and they're of much more pleasant quality, if not particularly like super realistic. At least they have some depth in the eyes, you know. And this one is basically just, you know, a flat texture. So yeah, it's kind of, you know, hit and miss. Oh, and these were also from Unreal Marketplace, and these were from like a Turbo Squid or a CG Trader or something. So yeah, that's kind of this situation, you know. Sasha, I admire you being able to do all this stuff by yourself. Thank you, Misha. Thank you so much. You're very kind. Okay, if you guys don't have any more questions, we're going to wrap up this stream, because we've been here for more than an hour, and I'm super, super grateful for you to spending your Saturday evening with me. I enjoyed talking to you guys and nerding out about all this stuff, which I don't, get to do often. Talking about how much work I put into this video. So, since you know now how much work it took, please share the video for Gods and Monsters with your friends on your socials and wherever you can. It really helps a lot. So yeah, thank you so much. Merry Christmas. Isn't it a little bit too early for Christmas? О, спасибо, Танечек. Колоссальная работа. Thank you so much, guys. Stay tuned to our socials. We're going to be working on the album. We're going to start recording some stuff. So if you want to look behind the scenes, please welcome to my Patreon or Coffee page. There's going to be a lot of interesting stuff, though I guess the majority of you are already my patrons and Coffee members. And again, thank you so much, guys, for supporting my insane creative ideas. I really do appreciate your support. Never too early for Christmas. Okay, then Merry Christmas to you, Paul. And I will see you soon. Bye bye.